Just on the car, he was in there, and I was sitting there, somebody else was on there, maybe Mary did.
Yeah,
That started off there.
Sounds like a horse I would like to ride.
Very big horse.
Lane five gated.
Well,
You tell them to get out.
it's a competition game. There's 5 of them. And we like canter, trot, and
I'm sorry for the delay, everyone.
well, it should
Welcome.
think.
Today is October
But you could be
21st. Claudia, may I ask you real quick, just this here, and what is in the window? October 21st, 2025, 6:30 p.m. Village of Belmont Board meeting called to order. May I have roll call, please?
Barb Bruce here.
Gary Lance here. Jerry Rig here. Herschel Johnson here.
Linda Isaac here. Peggy Walling here.
Linda Johnson,
Claudia did.
thank you. Can we all stand for pledge of allegiance?
Boy, if you say that, well.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Now you got some there.
Okay,
She's ignoring me.
I'm sorry. Well, forgive me. I know that we have visitors that have presentation for us, and it's been delayed because of computer problems over here. She's still trying to be able to log on.
So you don't have time for my humor, right?
I'm sorry. Forgive me, Mr. Ray.
I'll be back.
So, and now you've got me so flustered, I don't even know who to introduce. Aaron and Mr. Hawking are going to speak to us about the water tower. They came and inspected our water tower, and they're going to give us a heads up on what they see and what we need. We will not be getting a quote for them this evening, but they are going to let us know what we're looking at. We do hope that we will be able to go with them, and as we get bids. As we all recall, we did not get bids during our opening bidding period back in July. And so now we're just trying to reach out to whoever we can. We also have with us this evening our engineer, Tracy Watson, and she is also going to assist in any information or questions that we may have on where we're at and what we're doing. Okay? All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and turn the floor over. Will you need lights out?
Just that one.
You've got your in control?
I'm not going to talk for too long, other than just a few of you know me. I went to school with Barbie, and I was just coming through the area and just happened by dumb luck to see the tower, and we were headed to West Salem. I live in Evansville, so saw the tower, see if it needed work. I reached out to Linda, and one thing led to another, and so now Aaron came over from Oakville. My coworker climbed the tank. We did an inspection. They kind of got us up to date on how you guys had just bid it in August, and we just dismissed it. But Aaron can kind of go. He's going to, go over the presentation, let you guys know what we found. It falls in line with what Tracy had recommended as far as engineering. We just got a few details to work out on, maybe some of the paint specs and things. But with that being said, I'll turn it over to Aaron, let him do Serendipity, and let him do his thing.
I'll do this first.
Okay.
Hi, Aaron. My card if anybody needs one. No problem.
Thank you.
And the name of your company is?
Viking Industrial Painting.
Viking.
Viking, yep.
And Aaron is
Is that good enough to
president.
see? Can you guys get enough out of that? Right there?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I'm
you
trying.
that one, maybe just that one there, right? Be good enough?
How's that, guys? Okay?
So, real quick, my background, I'm from Oakville, Illinois. Went to Breeze Modern Day High School, married, and moved over to Oakville, been there for 27 years. I was a school teacher for 29 years. I am now in my 3rd year of working for Viking and doing that. Was I looking to get out? No. A friend of ours who was our CEO asked me to come be a salesman for him, and here I am. So it's a totally different world from teaching, I can tell you that. So, but this stuff right here is teaching to me. So if you got any questions, don't be afraid to raise your hand, please. Do it nicely, and we'll go from there. So again, my number's there on the card if you need it. Patrick got
I'm going to pass mine out.
Yeah. So, all right. So real quick, I'm going to give you a company overview of what we are at VIP. We're going to go through the tank, and then if you have any questions, that effect afterwards. Okay. Just basic. I did have a difficult time trying to get a picture of your full logo because the trees are in the way and trying to get on the streets and all that kind of stuff. So you'll see that here in a little bit. So company-wise, we've been, in water tank maintenance since 2001. This past year, you can see the stats there on the side, we sold over,
I think it's just one of those crazy.
yeah, it's fine. You want to move it over a little bit? No, let's do that. We put over 100,000 gallons of paint down on tanks last year. We've got over 360 projects. We are 39 plus states. I think that's even more now. It's probably in the range of about 42, 43 states that we are nationwide. We contribute to the AWWA painting specs and standards, inspection standards. We have NACE certified inspectors. I am not one, just so you know, but we have plenty of guys that and field operators that can come out and do official NACE sign-offs and things like that. So we have our own in-house engineer. Sorry, Chris. And then we have 10 plus in-house renovation crews. I think it's actually up to maybe 12. They've been adding this summer as we've gone. And then again, we are driven by our core values, which I'll go through here. This is our affiliate of families. Viking is, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Viking is our main base, and we are in Omaha, Nebraska. Newman Company Contractors is out of Wisconsin. We own Newman to cover for union jobs in Illinois. So it comes into effect quite a bit up in the Chicago area. Down here, we pay prevailing wages like we have to. That's not a problem. When it comes to if you want union, not one union, we can work around those kind of things if that's the way you want to do it. Okay. Just cover ourselves. We most likely will have a Newman crew that would do the work on your tank. Okay. Jeffco is a bridge painting company we purchased in California 2 years ago and working on making them more industrial in other areas. Mongan is out of Missouri, and they do more of the industrial food processing plants. They do swimming pools, all that kind of, those kind of things. Minoan is out in West Virginia, another tank paint company that we purchased years ago. Tankro down in Tuscaloosa we purchased at the start of the year. And then Coatings Unlimited we just purchased, what, 3 weeks ago? Something like that. And they are out in the state of Washington. So again, like I said, you can kind of see on the map here, we're everywhere, but we cover quite a bit. For Viking alone, we have 2 guys in Texas. We got 2 in Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, 2 in Iowa, 1 in Arkansas. Patrick's over in Indiana, cover us a little bit. We got myself and another gentleman in Illinois. We got a guy in Missouri. So that's the core of our Viking people. But again, we cover about everybody with all these companies out there. Okay. Real quick, our core values. We are customer focused. You know, if you have a question, call me. I mean, we're going to be here for the customer. Call Patrick. We're going to be here for you. If you're not sure, ask the question. If we're not sure, we'll find an answer for you. Okay. We're all about making sure you guys understand what's going on. We're going to help you get through it, what you need to do. We always talk about urgency plus diligence equals excellence. We want to try to get this done as quickly as possible, obviously, because taking a tank out offline, you know, in these kind of situations is going to be a 6 to 8 week process. You know, so we want to try to do it as quickly as possible. We want to make sure we do it right. Okay. And so that's what we're always trying to, we're going to achieve the excellence as quickly as we possibly can for you without doing any shortcuts or anything to that effect. We are continuously improving ourselves. I'll talk about it a little bit later. We're going to, we do surveys afterwards. You know, it'd be something that Linda or even somebody here on the board could fill out our survey for us, that kind of thing. We do that with all our projects. Somebody will call and they'll ask you quick, I think it's like 8 to 9 questions, something like that. So, can-do attitude, we approach it. We're gonna do it. If it's a challenge, we're gonna figure it out. Your tank is not too many challenges there to work with, except for the fact that it needs to be cleaned up. You know, it needs to be repainted. So, you know, some of them we've got to deal with piping and, you know, screens and whatever else. So right now I don't see anything to that effect. And then act with integrity. I'm pretty sure I'm a pretty good guy. If you just ask me, if not, ask my wife. She still likes me. Patrick, you can't trust Patrick. So, all right. Is there any questions on that? I mean, it's pretty basic. This is the customer satisfaction. Again, at the conclusion of each project, we prioritize gathering feedback from our customers. We'll reach out by phone, discuss the project, and gather insights on how the experience worked for you. We want to know everything. Was the crew bad? Did they leave trash? Did they work too late one night? You know, anything to that effect, we're not afraid to hear it. It'll help us. And if those things come up while it's happening, don't be afraid to tell us. We will fix it. Okay. Again, there's 6 categories that we get rated on. We'll go from there, and then again, that helps us improve for the next customer, and even coming back to you down the road, hopefully. And then again, we would ask if we did a good job, even if we did a bad job. We'll ask for a rating, but if we did a good job, hopefully you would recommend us for somebody else. And then again, this is part of our constant improvement. These are all the services kind of that we can do at Viking. We can do inspections, tank assessment, which I did. We can do tank asset management and maintenance programs. That is a continuous base fee situation where we would always take care of your tank. We basically take ownership of the tank with you and make sure it always looks good. So in this situation, we would get the tank back to as close to new as possible with the new coatings and everything, and then we'd start you with a maintenance program after that, if you ever want to go that far down the road. Okay, it's a proactive idea instead of a reactive idea. So you're always going to be taken care of. Inspections always come with that, cleanouts, and then eventually if you do another paint job in 20 years, if we take care of it for you, 20, 25 years, maybe even, depending on how lucky you can get with the paint, that would be part of it. Interior and exterior cleaning, cleanouts, power washes on the outside, we can do all that kind of stuff. Any minor structural repairs, simple one, some of them have the cathodic plates on top. We weld those plates back in place because we'll use a zinc primer now, that kind of thing. Those plates come falling off, you can get birds flying in your tank and dead animals, you don't want that. So that's the kind of small structural stuff we'll do. Full containment blasting and lead remediation. We will have to contain this because we're going to have to blast this one. And that costs a little bit to put those containments up, but according with the EPA, blasting and getting all that stuff in the air, it's got to be contained. You don't want to get yourself, you're online for it, we're online for it when it comes to that. So if the neighbor doesn't like it and something happens to them, they're coming right here and they're going to get you. So that's why we cover ourselves by doing the containment. Mixing systems, we can do passive and active. We need that. That's something Tracy can talk to you too about it, down the road if you guys want to do something like that. We do have engineering and permitting for ourselves. I know you have Tracy here. We will work with Tracy. It's not a problem with us. We have our engineer that would talk to her and get things lined up that need to be lined up. Any logo upgrades, if you want to change your logo, do something different, we can do that. If you want to leave it the same, we can do that. If you don't want a logo, we take it off. And then again, ongoing professional consultation and services. If you have anything, you call Patrick or myself and we can answer questions for you. And again, real quick, we have our own engineer. He isn't licensed for Illinois. Any specs that need to be and required for permitting, he can do that. He's going to review and consult on project challenges, especially with Tracy if that happens. Oversight and ensure the quality is good, and then he's licensed professional service company. So our engineer is also our COO of the Viking. So he's been in the business for 30 years. I've known him since high school, so he's one of my good friends. So, all right, now time for your tank, and the pictures will do justice on some of these, but we'll try our best. So I have it broken down into interior wet, interior dry, and the exterior. And so just to give you an idea, this is the inside of your tank. You can kind of see on the weld seams, all that rusting going down the tank on the other seams in some spots. That is a lot of your problem that's going to start. That's the first thing you probably need to address. That's your water quality and that kind of thing. Okay. This is looking up into from the last platform. This would all be the water around the tube climbing up to the top. Okay. I was told back in the day Patrick was an all-star baseball player, but he couldn't climb up there.
Just a few days or years ago. A couple.
So again, this is, as I was saying earlier, this is the best shot I could get of your logo because of the trees and with streets and not going to stand on somebody else's house to take a picture. It'd be the best thing I could do. So, and then again, this is a quick exterior one. You'll notice there's a couple spots that are coming up on there. So. Show that on the next one here again. Some more of the exterior, you can see spots here. Those are the ones that they're going to continue to grow, okay, unless you take care of them. Okay. you can see on the base cone, you've got some here. Let me move this a little bit, because this was, I don't know if you guys have gone by your tank and looked at it, but there's a spot, Linda and I looked on the one side, we really don't even know what that, it's a really big rust spot on the base cone on the back side.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like that, but blast it and get rid of it, clean it up, it won't be there. And then the overall, you got the all surface rust, with some areas coming in on the belly of the tank itself. Your vent screen, the screen's actually good, animals aren't getting in there, so you're good there, but the vent needs a little TLC on it too, and we can blast that down, we can clean it up, or we can replace it. Yes?
Where is the vent screen?
This screen is on top. This is, the vent is on the very top of the tank.
So is it around that thing that's in picture number 1? That picture?
This one here?
Yeah.
No, this one, oh yeah, sorry, yes, this is the vent screen, sorry. So this part under here would be, ready.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Okay.
I laid on my belly to take the picture, if that tells you how to get there, okay? This is also your secondary manway, so if there would ever be an accident while people are working on it, this is how they use it to get people out if they need to, kind of thing.
So that's a separate thing than the cover on the top that you opened up to look at the inside.
Yeah, that's this one, yep, because this just goes down to the dry right through in the middle of the water, all the water's around this tube. So, and then this one lets you get into the, to look inside when you need it, when you get the vent taken off, so. And then the other screen that you got to worry about is this overflow pipe here. This screen should be cleaned up and replaced probably. You can go to the local hardware store, get something, put a clamp on it, that kind of thing. The reason you do that is you don't want squirrels and raccoons to climb all the way up and then get stuck in your tank. So, all right, is there any questions there on the exterior for right now?
You said you were going to blast it?
I'll get you the recommendations, but yes, we're gonna, for this situation, we're gonna have to blast it and get it cleaned up. So, this is your dry interior. This is from the ground up, looking up into the first platform. Relatively good shape, but you do have some situations like this. This is more of a touch-up hand tool job. So we would power wash this, get rid of the paint chips that would fall off. It would grind down what we need to grind down with a hand tool. And then we touch up and just recoat those spots instead of doing a full interior paint job.
Okay. Hey, Aaron, can I interrupt for just a second? So on the picture on the top left, which is the 2 pipes there, they have insulation around them. One of them is a fill pipe, and the other one's the drain pipe or the outlet pipe, inlet outlet pipes. So one of the issues, and we've got to talk to Tracy about this and figure out how she wants everybody to bid it, but in theory, the insulation probably needs to come off there. The pipes inside there we need to see the condition of them and probably prep those, spot prime them, recoat those. But that's something, because this is the interior dry area, so it's not exposed to water or elements, and so it usually stays pretty good. But since it's been 30 years, I think it's worth looking at, and we probably need to talk about if that needs to be addressed. The other problem is if you go in here and do what Aaron's talking about and these spots and pressure wash, you're going to get water all over that insulation and everything anyway. So it's just kind of something we got to work through on when lining the scope up with Tracy. But back to you, Aaron.
No, you're good. You're good. So, and you can notice the insulation duct tape in most spots and put together. It probably needs to be a refreshed kind of situation. And again, like Patrick said, when we start spraying everything, it's just easier to take it all off, replace it with the new stuff. We're going to take it off anyway. You'd rather just get some new stuff probably put in place at that point. So, this is the manway right at the base of the tank, inside on the platform. Again, that's another access to bring in hoses and whatever else to work on the tank on the inside. It's in good shape. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. This is your platform. Both your platforms look like this. They are full of junk and rust and everything else. Again, that would be a thing to clean off. We hand tool, whatever needs to be, if we need to blast a little bit, just to clean them up and then touch them up kind of situation. I know we have a tank up in northern Illinois. We got the guys got into it, started spraying this off, and basically it was starting to fall through. It couldn't hold anything. So it held somebody until they started blasting it, and then once that blast started hitting it, it just basically finished off the rotting process.
Where's that one located?
Up north, it's with.
No,
Oh, this one, yeah, there's the ground, so this is your first platform,
okay.
so.
Those are called condensate platforms, is that right, Aaron?
Yeah.
I think? And yeah, they catch the condensation from inside the tank, and so that's why they inevitably end up being in really bad shape, because the moisture sits there, and there's no air to dry out. It also helps the guy that's climbing it, like Aaron, to take a break, a standoff platform they're referred to sometimes too.
Yep, yes, sir.
On the first picture, the platform there, is that the second platform?
Nope, this is from the ground, this is this platform and the same platform down here.
I see.
So we see the top and the
Yeah,
bottom.
this is one looking up, and then this is standing on it looking down.
Okay.
So. All right. All right, your interior wet. This is your ladder, a lot of surface rust in the ladder. I don't think this needs to be replaced. I think with the blast and everything else, we can touch this up. It shouldn't be a problem. Some cases, the rungs can be rotted through. Now, it may be different when you get to the last two rungs at the bottom that I can't see all the way through the water kind of situation. But again, we can address that as it happens. There again is your line for some of the rusting on the weld seams. Got some surface rust that comes down from those. This is through the water, and it's a little difficult to see through the blue, but you can kind of see there's still some surface rust areas coming through there. There's a couple lines that have started. Again, this is something that with a visual inspection, we can only get so much. If we do a clean out situation, we can come clean out the whole tank, spray it down. Once we get in there, then we can do a full inspection and really see, because once you take the water out and you kind of stand, you can even see pinholes in the roof and things like that you normally wouldn't be able to see just standing, if I'm just standing on top of the roof looking at it, kind of thing.
And one of the other things is a lot of times the weight of that water will keep that coating pushed up against the sides, especially when it's been in there for 30 years like this. And once you take it out, like Aaron said, you can not only see the things, but, you know, the corrosion and stuff like that on the wall, but it sometimes will start seeing it peel off in places.
This is one of the plugs that they use for rigging and such, and you can see here again, it's got the corrosion now, and the weld seam down here is starting to go again too.
What's that for?
So like when we come in to do the blasting or whatever, we got guys hanging from a basket. We'll open this plug up and we'll run cables through there, or we'll put a eye bolt into it, switch it out for an eye bolt, and then the guys can hook into it and pull themselves up. So, you know, it's pretty standard on almost all the tanks. A lot of times we have to put some in some of the older tanks just so we can work. So.
Does that ladder actually go down into the water?
Yes, this ladder goes all the way down into the water.
Huh.
Now, don't climb on it unless it's empty.
Nobody climbs our ladder. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, no, because, you know, in this situation, like this is all the farther I get. You can see me standing there taking my selfie.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the farther, you know, I'm legally allowed to go, and that's all the farther I'm gonna go. Because if something happens, again, Patrick's not coming up to get me. So, yeah. So again, this ladder is for service situations and that kind of thing. When the time comes and we start doing the work, they'll use that ladder to get to the base of the tank and things like that. All right. Okay. Normally in this situation, I'll put the exterior renovation wet and dry, and I'll put it like year whatever. Yours needs to be done immediately. It's to that point. You know, sorry to say it that way, but that's just kind of the way it is. So in this case, for the exterior renovation, for all the exterior surfaces, we have abrasive blast, clean it, remove all the coatings, and prepare it for new surface. Get all the surfaces be fully primed with a zinc-rich poly primer, and then we follow it up with a full top coat of an epoxy polyurethane. So, and something else that we do that I don't have on, I should have put on this slide. All those weld seams that you saw, we'll straight coat those first, and put an extra thing of zinc primer on top of those welds, and then put the full primer on the whole tank. So all those weld seams that they're usually the first things to go are going to be will be double coated, and you don't have to worry about that as much, hopefully. So again, the interior wet to be blasted, remove all the coatings, prepare it for steel. Full zinc primer here again. We would stripe. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. We would stripe coat all the parts of the with brush and rollers that get the, you know, all these are mil thicknesses, millimeters. You know how thick the paint's going to be. So at the end, you're looking at hopefully in the range of 12 to 16 total that we would have.
In full transparency, I have to disclose that I made some changes to this presentation, and so Aaron's reading it, looking for things that I took off or added. So, yeah, my apologies.
It's no big.
And so, Aaron, when you described, sinkholes, I believe that's where
The pitting,
the
things
pitting,
like that.
the
Yep.
pitting, and then also the seams. Okay, I
Yes.
understand.
Yeah. So again, I didn't see a lot of pitting per se, but I think a lot of it just coming from the well seams and just working its way down. And all those things would be addressed again when we would get inside there and start doing the work. So, and then again, I talked about the interior dry, all surfaces be appropriately addressed, spot prying and coating system put on. Again, to me, it doesn't need a full blast on the inside. It just needs to get those few spots that we need to fix and go from there. Get the platforms cleaned up and again, the platforms may be something extra if it, also we blast and we get into it, as of right now. And again, this is something we'll talk with Tracy if she thinks that we need to include all that eventually just and be done with it, we can do that. That's something we'll talk to Tracy about. So, is there any questions? I can go back through the pictures if you want to see the pictures again.
You said something about lever deviation, what's that apply to on our tank?
Did we get the,
We did not,
did we get
no one that I,
testing for,
No.
have you tested for like,
there shouldn't be.
shouldn't be, because it was built in 94, right? Yeah.
96, I thought.
Yeah, or 96, yeah, so you shouldn't have any lead paint on it at all, so we should be, but you still will have to contain it, just because of the particles, and the paint particles being in the air.
You will see some contractors try to open air blast in certain areas. You get this close to town, you can't do it. It's not recommended any time, but the Illinois EPA, they're gonna make you contain it.
If we were doing a lead containment, it would be another probably 40% on the price of containment, because of doing the lead and properly disposal.
Well, it would certainly just apply to the exterior, right?
Yes, yeah, because the interior,
I'm sure they wouldn't use lead-based paint.
No, there's no, yeah. And again, lead paint was 78, 74. I can't remember. So you guys, you're well past that. So that's why we never even worried about it when we talked about it. So again, when it comes to the containment, it's just going to be just the paint particles themselves coming off and flying all over the place. So we got to contain it. Yes.
You have the trucks to come in and supply us with water during the time that the painting and all
So
that
that's
is
something
being
we
done?
talked to Linda about. We do not have our own tank for that kind of situation, but we have customers, or we have associates that we can rent get tank rentals done for you. That needs to be the case.
Kind of the industry standard is Rain for Rent or Tomcat Consultants, but there's others around as well.
In the specs that was written, the owner would take care of it, just because Linda and I had already spoke with EJ Water, and they're the closest
And
system.
And I've used EJ for a pressure tank already before. They're good.
I want to clarify that too, guys, that we're not buying water. We use the tanks to run our water into those tanks to have a holding tank to take out to our residents.
We use our water wells to do that.
Right, so we're not getting water from somewhere
We're
else.
diverting
using our
from the
water.
tank
You're basically renting a swimming pool.
to these temporary containers.
When Claudia said that, I didn't want anyone to be confused about that. We're using our water.
Well, then, having gone to that subject, will the water pressure for the whole town be lower when we're doing this, besides where it's coming in?
Their machines and tanks are set up to handle the pressure and give you the pressure through the town. If for some reason it doesn't, it's probably within their equipment and they can come fix it real quick.
The only thing that I could see that would go wrong would be a problem for us is if we had a major leak somewhere and then we didn't have enough water to fulfill quickly enough, because we use, say, 15,000 gallons a day, our town does.
Yep.
So if residents ask us if they should notice any change in their water while you're doing that, they should be able to do their normal,
Everything,
normal things at home. Okay.
I don't know for sure. Is there a boiler when it goes up in there? I don't know for sure on that kind of thing.
And I think,
But that would be a day or two until they test it.
The water company, EJ Water folks will work all the details of that, because they do that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's neither Tracy or ourselves get involved in that as frequently, because a lot of times people will have a backup tank or another supply, so they're probably the ones to ask about the pressure.
I'll be at EJ Water. They got an open house on Thursday night. So I'll be there and I'll try to get an answer for you on that too. Yes?
How often do you recommend maintenance on this sort of a tank after everything's good and we?
So if you were talking a full maintenance program, we would come in and do a visual inspection every year. I know what I've already done here. Give you an idea what it looks like, give a report to you guys, you know, and go from there. Every 3 to 4 years, we recommend to do the clean outs. So you drain the tank for a day or two, you know, you wouldn't have a pressure tank brought in, you just basically run off your wells and put a boil order in. And then we do the clean out, get it all, that usually takes a day, quick inspection, and then you fill it back up, do your testing, and put it back online. And then with that, we would do visuals, like that, 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, whatever it is, and then do the clean out, and then just keep repeating that process. And then at any point in time, if you're on a maintenance program, if the coatings start to fail, if we have a really cold winter and you get freezing inside, and it scratches the tank, and all of a sudden we notice we come in back in the spring, and also we see a big scratch because of, say, ice that just ran its way down once it started melting, or, you know, just a fluctuation of your water level, that kind of thing. Those things within a program, we would take care of. So, you know, but overall maintenance, honestly, you should probably have it inspected at least every 2 years at the worst, I would say. Don't you agree?
I always say 3 to 5.
Yeah,
The more frequent, the better, in my opinion. Is depends on how people want to spend the money.
And that's
if it's outside of a maintenance program, which, and Aaron touched on this, but a maintenance program, typically, your tank is kind of in the late stages for one now. It would have been ideal to get in one a few years ago, but after we rehab this, like Aaron said earlier, it's not going to need any major work for 15 plus years or 20. So,
but part of that with us, we're doing a maintenance program. You're paying a base fee, basically leads you to your painting 12 years down the road or whatever it's going to be. You know, and it recovers any for us. Maintenance programs cover any emergency service. If somebody deer hunter shooting guns and puts a hole in it and it's leaking, right now it's on you yet. If you're in a maintenance program, we would come and you'd call us. We'd have somebody here within a day or two and get that welded back shut and get it back in place for you.
And that's the thing a lot of people fail to realize is, regardless of what you do, it's going to need to be painted inside and out again, and whatever the time frame is you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to plan on for the future, for sure.
You said the thickness of the paint is going to be 16 mils?
Probably for the new stuff, it'll be right now in that 10 range, because it's going to be like 2 for the primer, like especially the weld seams. You know, it'll be 2 for the primer, 2 or 3 for the primer stripe, then 2 or 3 for the regular primer, and then 2 or 3 for the epoxy. You know, so you know what we look for. Yeah, and I forget. Do you remember what those were in the original?
I'd have to look at the TPS and some of this stuff, but yeah, typically, like on the inside, you don't want to put it on too heavy. It takes it longer to cure. It won't cure right. So I think we recommend on the interior, after we get to the zinc primer and then we do the stripe coating, I think the finish coat we end up putting on in 2 separate applications. You put like 4 mils on, and you put it on in a different color so the guys can see. You put it on in like a light blue so the guys can see where they painted. You don't want to paint white and then go, oh crap, where did I paint? And so they'll put like a light blue down and let that cure, and then they'll put the next coat on of white. So
yeah. So the mils I took on the top was between 12 and the other one was 20. So again, you're gonna just like painting your house. If you put another coat of paint on a wall, and then another coat, and then another coat, what's gonna happen? It just gets so thick, you know, kind of situation. You don't want that here because those coatings, especially on the inside, fall off. They're gonna be in your water.
Yeah,
So you know, so again, our recommendation, you're at the point, the blast, and clean it all off, get it back to bare steel, and then we can start going from there and taking care of it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have enough. Yeah. Yeah, and then again, like if you're talking the maintenance program, that's what makes it easy for us too. If you want to get on a program kind of situation, we can talk about that down the road. Yes.
What's the usual length of time that it takes to do a tower like this? I know it depends on how much rust and corrosion you find, but
actually a lot of it depends on the weather. Because curing, like Patrick was just saying, our curing times, depending on anywhere, rough guesstimate, this is going to be at least 8 weeks probably, and so it just, if you can get a day where you can, you know, if it's windy outside, you can't do anything, you can get on the inside, you know, they'll do as much work on the outside first and then get to the inside when they need to, because it's easier to work, you know, out of the weather, you know, they can still work, they can still do some blasting and things like that in the rain on the inside. You know, you can't do obviously anything on the outside, you know, unless the lightning's coming and then they don't like to be inside a big tall metal building where the lightning comes.
One of the frustrating things in our industry is that the paint manufacturers recommend to apply it, most paints, and very little, but nighttime temps, you know, like 50 or above, or the different paint systems will have different specs. But it gets you in a spot where you're so covered up, like a lot of construction folks, when it's warm. So you get to March through October, you're super busy. And then you can't do a lot of painting after October and before March. And so, and as Aaron said, the weather, you can't paint in the rain, obviously, and like,
I just saw one of our crews on Monday, and they're on top of the hill in the middle of the country, and it was probably 40, 50 mile an hour winds, you know, so, you know, they were blasting at that point, but it would have been a day off to do any, because they wouldn't be able to paint, kind of thing.
So we're probably looking at, if you didn't have any jobs ahead of this, we'd be looking at spring.
Oh, definitely.
Spring would be the earliest.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, though. I had that down as a bullet point I wanted to check on, because I know Tracy's asked to get quotes within, when was that? November 15th, and so then how long do you think it take? I mean, they'll have to vote, right? Or maybe
What's your budget year? Is it mid-April? Or do you start in the year?
Yeah,
Mid-April. Okay.
A lot of that goes on EPA's
Yeah.
calendar,
So I
so.
was trying to get a feel for, like when all this gets finished and then make a decision and get, like, then, like,
Yeah.
there's a contract gotta be signed with the Illinois EPA or with them or both, and that, and like, what time frame we look at to get something maybe finalized when it gets to that point, and then a notice to proceed or whatever, probably.
Would we plan on, if we have all bids by November 15th, could we vote on this next month's meeting? What day is it? Would it be later than that?
Our meeting next month would be the 11th, but we can make the decision this evening to postpone it a week later so that we can meet that deadline.
From the 18th.
Okay,
So it'd be, the 18th.
okay.
If you
And
felt
then-
that you could get us all the appropriate information by then.
Right, yes, and then, I would say 30 to 45 days on the EPA doing their part. I mean, essentially, I have a bid package I have to send in with the notice of intent to award, the not bid tab, but essentially a bid tab, and the performance payment bond, just different, all a checklist of things they need. Then they go through that, I would say every bit of 30 days it would take them to get back to respond.
You do have me at a little bit of a quandary, because when it deals with bids and things like that, I don't have to deal with the bid part, because I'm negotiating sales usually with runs through Newman. But being you guys have already advertised, and now you can it's a little different situation. So when it comes to those questions, if you have anything that I don't know and if I can't get an answer, we'll get an answer.
I strictly focus in negotiated sales too on the industrial, so we're, both out of our depth.
You know, so for, like she's talking about doing like a bid tab, I guess is what we're calling it. We can get through that. We got plenty of people that, Carter is in charge of Newman has helped us talk about price and things like that if we need to get
But it
to
sounds
that
like,
point.
it sounds like we can get it wrapped up around, end of year, new year, and then get everything lined up, and then you can get the temporary water guys teed up and get the plans maybe started in March or April. So, I think you were dead on there. But we could start probably first job in the spring or something.
And of course, you want
Maybe.
ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't. We are, as you saw with the companies, we are a growing business. We use Tnemec paint for the tank, and I'm sure Tracy knows what that is. Tnemec's out of Kansas City. We are Tnemec's #1 purchase client.
And they're one of the largest.
We buy more paint from Tnemec than anybody of all the,
So what are you saying? You may be able to get to it March, or you may
I would not
have
say
any-
March. I would say, you're looking April, May, and again, it's gonna depend how quickly we can get it signed, if other people get signed in front of you, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we're just talking, but we don't make those
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
That would be up to Tracy to
Yeah.
help us figure out what we can do that once we decide on.
I'm not a big fan, like we had this year, of the drought situation, to the fact that, to take your, like I said, take your tank offline if you get a water leak or if you get a field fire. and now you don't have enough water for fire suppression, that kind of thing too. So, you know, I had a couple customers, they wanted to go, and I'm like, what happens if there's a fire? Oh, didn't think about that. You know, you gotta, you know, so we don't want to leave you empty-handed either in that kind of situation. So, but yeah, like I said, the earlier we can get it signed, the quicker we can get it into our queue and that kind of thing, then hopefully, you know, should be a good chance hopefully get it in the spring. Newman, I showed Viking, we have over 10 plus crews. Newman's got 4 crews now already. And so, and again, they just stay in Illinois basically. You know, so then we may send a crew down to Texas or something like that during the winter just to help out, you know, a couple spots down there where the weather, you know, where the cooperation will be better. But, you know, again, Newman would be probably the crew that comes in here that does that kind of thing and has it done. So.
Okay.
Anything else?
When can you get us a bid?
Well, again, we're gonna talk to Tracy and get specified on everything that you guys need to get done on the tank, and then we'll kind of coordinate our numbers from that point.
We've already got a good start on it because we've been going back and forth communicating via email and on the phone. I've been talking to Tracy a lot. She's been talking to Illinois EPA and some other folks I think that she'll get a quote from. And so I think, it's just, we got to get it all lined up, but we've got a good start on it. We're close to having it wrapped up. We just need to cross a few T's.
I want to thank you both for coming this evening. I want to remind the board that the reason why they did come and do their presentation to us is because they had reached out to us when they saw that we were needing the assistance. And it was just luck of draw that, we actually didn't get any bids, and we are now currently looking, and that opened the door for them to come in. And they came right in. Can we come in? Can we take a look? And they're following through with their presentation to us, which is educating us more of what we need to be expecting. But because of the process and us not, having funds readily available and having to do the loan, already started the process of the loan and so forth, we will have to try to get the best bid we possibly can. So they've reached out to us, and that's very much appreciated. But then we'll be also following through with Tracy with whatever else that we can find.
And typically we would charge for inspections, but this is home to me, and so I knew you guys needed it, and so we didn't charge anything. We did it at no charge. And I did say I'm 45 minutes away. I live in Evansville. I'm over here to see my dad all the time and my sisters, and so if you guys ever need anything, as Aaron mentioned, he's an hour 45 away. I'm 45 minutes away, and so I'm assuming there's no, I'm not assuming, I know there's no other big tent company as close as I am, so, whoever you get a quote from is not gonna be able to get here if there's an emergency or need something, so we can.
I had a meeting in Albion today with Marty Reed over there, so, I'm trying to get him to be one of my customers also, so, to come over here is not a big deal.
And we're also, Tracy, we're working with Tracy, Newman's gonna put a quote in on a bid she's got, St. Francisville coming up soon too, so.
Okay.
We're around.
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Again, my card's there.
Yes, you have it here? Yep.
Man, I feel so old, I get stiff when I stand up.
Oh, we're all
I'm sure
getting there.
none of you can appreciate that. Yeah, I've got a Polaroid of me and David Eads and John Barry and some boys down here.
Here we go.
Here we go. I did make the All-Star. He played college volleyball, so he's got one up on me.
We just visited with David Eads a couple weeks ago. He was in Mount Carmel.
Well, I seen him in Evansville once in a while.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Notice he just retired from the sheriff's department.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's working security with
Deacon of Illinois.
Oh, he is.
Down from Marion.
Well, I knew his brother was a state trooper one year, and he went over there, and then my granddaughters go to Central, and we see him at Central because his kids went to
his kids
Central.
went to school there, yeah. So he just finished 30 years over there.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the 14th, so I think they're done.
What's next?
Nothing.
Board, I apologize. It's been brought to my attention that the posting on the billboard outside does say the meeting is this evening, the 21st at 6:30 p.m., that our agenda posted on the board did not get changed properly 48 hours prior to this meeting. So any more action that we would take this evening would not be,
legit?
valid, yes. No votes or anything of that sort. I was not aware of it.
Just didn't.
I was not aware of it. So at this time, I will, Tracy, my apologies to you, because I mean, I'm sorry. And so at this time, unless anyone knows from the top of their head what the regulations are on that, I know that it's an open meeting act violation if you don't post the agenda 48 hours prior. We did. We just had a wrong date on it. But I think it would be too wise for us to go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn, and then we can reset a meeting to take care of our business within 72 hours from now.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
So, we're done?
Well, we've already made the motion, and so today is Tuesday. The clerk will be getting a hold of you all and setting up another date. We can do it as early as 48 hours from this time. It is almost 7:30 now, so we could actually do it as early as Thursday at 7:30 if she was to get a new agenda posted immediately and the date. But she will get a hold of you and let you know that.
Jerry, you won't be here.
We always have to
Thursday, no.
have four.
I may not be here either.
I've got it erased Thursday.
I may be absent also.
Can we do it next Tuesday? That's too late.
I'm going
Well,
fishing.
we'll have to do it when we do it. I mean, guys, I'm cautious about discussing anything else because I've already adjourned the meeting.
Yeah.
So,
I'll just butter
that will
my
be handled-
proxy paper.
that will be handled by the clerk.
Okay.
No.
I know that's legal some places.
You need to address the trash nest because if we send that trash and water okay, I think you're probably.
But I mean, like, that would be somebody we would probably call in.
Thank you.
See you next time.
You can come over and visit Josie if you want.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, my nephew, he's got a big pound of dirt over there in Sprague, and I wish he would have leveled it, you know, because I'd go out there and I'd look at it and